So tonight was the Terry Labonte installment of Bunk'd on Disney Channel, and guess what? The Reverend Marsh, well, I don't want to call him Reverend, but some shit like that. The Reverend Redneck Marshall made his return, and we're going to get to that throughout the whole episode, considering, Bunk'd episodes, just like every other year, are always fast-paced. So, anyway, let's get into it. First off, the first thing I want to talk about was actually was the subplot, how Jake, said, hey, made it clear at the beginning of the season, his parents have said strictly, if you're going to go to summer camp, no technology and no video games. And Destiny got addicted to it herself. And then Jake just told her, there's a lot of stuff you're missing out in the great outdoors by staying inside and locking yourself in an air conditioning indoor facility all day long and missing all the good stuff and the good people outside. So, and that one hit home. You know how like a million little things during the non-summer months will showcase these real life, scenarios that people go through in real life? Well, this is probably the first time a show not dedicated to being authentic as possible kind of showcase some authenticity without the show being targeted towards any authenticity. Well, Bunk'd is showcasing all the younger to the targeted audience. Well, not for the adults who enjoy it, who are allowed to enjoy it too, because I learned this growing up when I was a kid before modern Disney Channel became a thing, and before it Bunk'd and Ultraviolet and Villains of Valley View and all this other shit came along. Well, they're showcasing to the younger one, the audience younger than me, what I'm basically basically I'm showcasing. How am I wording this? I got an itch on my hand. Sorry, guys. Okay, Bunk'd tonight was showcasing to the younger audience, younger than me, what I officially learned. Now I'm 28, considering, what I basically, they were educating the kids what the adults are doing now in real life. Oh my God, itch on my hand won't go away. Did a bug bite me or something? I don't fucking know, but anyway, so they were showcasing, it's more to just electronics and the technology in the summer months, that you're missing out on a lot of good stuff outside. So, see, this is what I was talking about in my other videos. When I was a kid on Lenore and in Michigan and a teen on Sandhurst in Brook Park, I was always missing out on the good fun outside, and the weather was nice, because I just wanted to watch every single NASCAR race, the Winston Cup Series and Busch Series especially on Lenore. So, therefore, and Chris Peterson from on Twitter is blowing up my phone, so we're gonna get to that after the shower. Yeah, on Lenore, I was wanted to watch every Winston Cup and even Busch race, and I occasionally watch the Craftsman Truck Series race, but it was always every Winston and Busch Series race, Winston Cup and Busch Series race. And on Sandhurst, I wanted to watch every single Cup race, and at one point, I just wanted to watch I was able to catch every Busch and Craftsman Truck Series race. And even during the early years, I lived here. 2015, 16, 17, and 18, most of 18, 19, and most of 2020. The last time I was fully blown in NASCAR was 2020. I still wanted to I tried to catch most races, but I kind of reduced it to most races, but also wanted to start doing stuff every once in a while. But I still wanted to make sure I catch at least most races as much as I could, especially in 2015, for OGs that remember who have been on my channel since I've been 20 before those days, before I had TikTok, when I was living La Vida Labras with Kelly Berglund and Paris Burrells. Well, my passion in 2015 just kind of broke the scale and kind of went over the edge on the top, to the point where I basically wanted to catch. That was the only year I actually, in modern times, I wanted to catch every single race. Not only Cup, but even Xfinity and Truck. I wanted to catch every single one, because that's how passionate I was. That was when I really started getting into TV, being friends with people from my favorite shows. 2016, it went down a little bit, but it's still on the edge. It was flirting with disaster like Molly Hatchet. But, when Well, 2020, I probably would have done better things, but COVID kind of forced me to stay inside anyway to watch races. Basically, I had no choice with all the other stuff all this stuff going on in the world 2 years ago, and not being able to spend our summer and interact with our loved ones the way we were used to. But then the next year, when they brought the vaccines in to make things somewhat normal again, like it is now, I basically, when the weather got nice, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I found myself finding better stuff to do. Enjoying the great outdoors. There's a lot of good YouTube videos that are on my channel right now that never would have happened had I stayed inside to watch every single race still last year and even this year, And there's a lot of people I would have missed out on this year on seeing for the first time in forever, seeing, every once in a while that I don't get to see all the time, or seeing someone who I never met before. All these amazing people that those three different categories I would have missed, had I stayed inside to watch Gateway this year, the first Winston Cup race at Gateway. Had I stayed inside to watch the Aaron's 499 in Talladega, I could have saw Zach Barnhart during the day of the Coke 600, but that was different. I mean, it didn't matter who was here or not. I'm always going to watch the Coke 600 until the day I take it to the grave, or the Southern 500, the Daytona 500, and I'll still go to MIS, but, still. And that's part of why, I'm not going to bring any Spurs content to the channel this year, because it's like, I'm pretty sure, if Mallory James Mahoney and Luke Busey educate us on something that I've known for years now. When you get older, the things that you would love to do most of the time, more than anything else, that you were fully obsessed with, kind of change when you get older. It's like you lose interest and passion to the point where you you still want to do it, but not as frequently. But you basically want to find better things to do for to take up half the time, almost all your time. Because, with me with NASCAR, I still like it, but it's not as fun anymore like it was in the early 2000s when it was the twilight of Winston. It was the Tauruses, the Monte Carlos, the Pontiac Grand Prix and Dodge Intrepid, the Gen 4 Winston Cup name, full points format, no chase. It was the Busch Series and the Craftsman Truck Series, ARCA Remax, blah, 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 all of this stuff. It's the same with the San Antonio Spurs, too. When, Duncan was there, in his prime, it was washed up Robinson, young Tony and Manu. We had Bruce, even Avery and Sean, back when those guys were there, and even when the king of fucking it up, Fabricio Alberto got there, all these other role players that were actually pretty damn good. Hell, even the early modern Spurs with, Nephew, Danny Green, Thiago Splitter, Matt Bonner, Patty Mills before the shoulder injury and early post-shoulder injury, Then we had that imposter and Bowen's number come in. Oh, who else? Boris Diaw. All those were the good players from all the Spurs throughout the time I was growing up. All the Hall of Fame culture, Spurs legends, not NBA legends, but legends exclusively to San Antonio. Just good role players that kept the team in championship contention, even the years we came up empty-handed. But it's like, as soon as that Hall of Fame core all retired, Duncan, Ginobili and Parker, and then all of a sudden all the good players left and are retired. It's like, we bring in youngins who don't have that kind of experience that, Duncan's squad had, and then all of a sudden we get stuck in 3 years of purgatory. Maybe Uncle Dennis and Unzaza's to thank for this, but here's another thing that I say that. You see, there was a lot of teams that, that got sent all the way to the bottom into purgatory that were once contenders like we were when Duncan and them were there. And all of a sudden they're kind of climbing their way back up into relevance because they did their rebuild process better than we did, and we've been stuck in purgatory for 3 years, about to be a 4th year, which is why I'm still going to like the Spurs and stay in the loop. I'm always going to be a fan till the day I die, except I'm just not going to watch the games this year because, as I mentioned in last night's video, it took fucking forever till this morning to upload. I don't want you guys to see me all stressed and miserable 82 times a year on the channel and having to clog up all the content. I want to give you guys better content throughout the cold weather months when we get to season 2 of Adventures in Autumn and Winter Wonderland. So I just want you to see me happy, even if it's not summer. When we get to season 2, Adventures in Autumn in September, go all the way through to season 2 of Winter Wonderland in December. So, therefore, and then we just run it back, and when we do Spring is in the Air in April of 2023. So, yeah, so see, Miranda, Mallory and Luke did an excellent job showcasing that stuff. It's like, considering the Spurs aren't any good anymore, everybody, all the Hall of Fame core retired, and all the good players retired and left. It's like we're not no good no more to the point where it's part of growing up. But whether my passion for NASCAR stayed up here and went all the way down here like it did, with the Spurs no longer being any good, it's like the drivers I like in NASCAR and now like modern NASCAR, some of them are actually winning races and competing for championships. Some of them are actually winning the championships too. But it's a reversal of fortune. While the Spurs were contending in older NASCAR, what were the drivers I liked back then doing? Kyle Petty and Juan Pablo Montoya. Other than Kyle Petty finishing third in the Coke 600 in 07 and Montoya winning that Dodge Save Mart 350 at Sears Point that same year, and then winning at Watkins Glen in 2010. You guessed it. They couldn't do none of that. Montoya at least won 2 races, even if it was on road courses. But we saw Kurt Busch put the 45 in the victory lane. For the first time ever. Kyle Petty, this guy right here, he couldn't even do that for me when I was little. He couldn't do that for me. So you kind of feel bad for the kid version of me. But what was Kyle Petty and Juan Montoya doing besides occasional top 5 wins, when all the good drivers crashed out? I mean, they tore up equipment, ran in the middle of the pack, or finished 30th at the worst, multiple laps down every week while the Spurs were in their glory days. Now we have drivers I like in their glory days and the Spurs in purgatory. See, it's part of growing up, and it's part of growing up and finding better stuff to do. It's the perks of getting older. But that's what Mallory and Luke showcased tonight as Destiny and Jake, and they did a hell of a job. Now for the second subplot. So Parker wanted to learn how to do a little be a ranger or something like that. I wasn't listening because I was trying to listen to what was going on upstairs with my family. So Lou and Bill were trying to teach him, and so they kind of went a little overboard, saying he wasn't ready. But then when I don't know what, I wasn't paying close enough attention tonight, but then they owed him an apology. They apologized to him and worked it out in the end. Kind of like how, Jake and Destiny worked things out in the end, with the whole go out there in the summertime while the weather's nice instead of wasting your time, with electronics and technology all day. So like we've been doing since we grew up last year. Well, they did work out their problems like all the comedies do. And guess what? Now they're ready to train. Now, it was good to see Grace Liu again, play that Megan girl that's Noah's love interest, the main plot. So the Marshall, Redneck Marshall, I wish Tom Rivera had Instagram, but sadly he doesn't. So I get it. Noah wanted to quit and feared, Megan getting mad and shit, lying and shit, And then when Winnie tried to cover for Noah, they were booing, and Noah was sticking up for Winnie. And even though Megan didn't like the fact that he lied, and I'm glad she was very understanding as to why he did it, was sticking up for his friend. And guess what? They were still all smiles and positivity at the end. I mean, I know in real life that wouldn't be the case. Once you lie, even if it was for doing for someone's own good, it's still not okay. And the person would be very mad at you for maybe a day or two. You'll be lucky it's just a day or two, because sometimes they'll be mad at you for over a week before they want to talk things out with you. But that's why it's just TV when unrealistic shit like that happens. So therefore, pretty good episode of a Terry Labonte installment. So I'm gonna go take a shower, and then I'll probably eat up once I'm done. I'm going to do something special with the Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion and Villains of Valley View reaction video involving my food. So stick around. Y'all won't want to miss it.